This conference will now be recorded.
Let's go ahead and start. Get a roll call, please.
Counselor Roebuck,
Here.
Counselor Kenner,
Here.
Counselor Peterson,
Here.
Counselor Sanchez.
Yes. All right, great. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda and the minutes?
I'll make the motion for the agenda and the minutes.
Second.
Second. A motion to second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Great. Non-agenda items, Shnar.
Mr. Chairman, committee,
Is this our first committee meeting back in here, by the way? Are we the first ones?
we're the first one.
No.
No, we're the
yes.
first one. Public safety.
Sure.
Over there. Okay, just to catch you up, project update. You can see the picture. Took those last Thursday. That's the landfill. You can see they got, last week they had 3 scrapers. This is the scraper, and then that's the dozer pushing it to help scrape the dirt off. This is the water wagon to keep the dust down. They had 3 scrapers, 1 dozer, and 1 water wagon. This week they're mobilizing 3 more scrapers, 1 more dozer, 1 more water wagon. So they will be ready for the filter fabric June 14th. Delivery date, and the project should be done July 31st. Everything is looking good. Everything is looking good. The fabric was being fabricated, and then it had to go to the quality control testing, for the certification, and then it'll be delivered. So far, everything looks good.
Okay.
Next slide. And then last week, they poured the floor. And so you can see the floor in the bottom left picture. That's when they were pouring it. They just had a bucket with the release, and they'd lower it. So you can see the left picture and the top picture is them placing the concrete, and then that's the concrete afterwards with the rebar sticking up. First, this week they'll be forming the walls. And they're still debating whether they're going to do the walls and the roof at the same time or just the walls. But everything's going good with that project. And I turn it over to facility maintenance, Trent.
Mr. Chairman and committee members, going back to the library, we've got all the tile has gone in. This picture was last Thursday as well. Since then, I wanted to point out a couple of things that we did here that you may not have noticed. All the walls and the floor, instead of a cement grout, we use an epoxy grout. It just withholds better to the environment that it's in, and usually it lasts a lifetime. We're not in there sealing and doing different things. Since then, the partitions have started to go up. The plumber said he was going to be a little behind, so we're not waiting on him. The partitions going in, he's going to have a little tougher job. We're expecting to have, if he gets all his material next week, the following week, we should get our inspection. And then we'll be able to open those 4 back. I believe once the 4 restrooms are open, it'll probably, I'm speculating she will probably open the children's area because they've been cleaning and doing all stuff. The only things we'll have left is the Malone room floor and just some odd end touch-ups around.
So right now, from your standpoint, there's nothing preventing the children's area from being open.
Next slide. That's one of the children's restrooms. Next slide. Hartley Park, I've called for our final inspection. Only 2 things we have remaining. One, I'll show you on the picture. For some reason, we can't find, there's a flower that goes on this piece of equipment. That flower's made it in. We've got the sign to put in and then the inspection. I've already called the inspector, and we get all that passed, then we'll be able to have a ribbon cut.
There's just in time.
Any day, yeah. Any day.
Has he make the he already looked at it, or is that just what you're talking about?
That's the inspector. Yeah, we are final inspection. The police evidence storage, and next slide. All the roofing is done. This is just the top layer. You have this is the bay area. I just kind of wanted to give you an idea of the footprint. Go ahead.
Now, they're not currently using this yet. They're not using till you guys
Yeah.
You have handed.
Right. This is a fenced-in area for their evidence storage that was added as well. The streets department did all the dirt work to we were able to get that fence done. They are currently working on the security. It's in progress. They see no delays. Once we get that done, we should be able to occupy the building.
Now, when this building is open, will we eventually, at least for police purposes, they'll move out of the stuff out of Seal Grant, et cetera?
That's correct. So I believe that's it. And then just a quick update on McBride's Veteran Cemetery. I did receive the 100% schematics. We had to make a few changes on the specifications. They're just messy, but it's currently on. We're waiting response on quotes, and then we'll be bringing it back.
Yeah, my interesting, about a couple of weeks ago, I went to my grandma's funeral who fought in World War II. And so I was I hadn't really had a concept of like what this is really for. And then she had military honors, of course. Oh, this is what this is all about. So it gave me good context for that, or what you get forward doing like that. So, great. So that's what we should have thought.
It is out. It's out for quote right now. And we're just waiting. It's been out to quote for about 2 weeks. So
We're utilizing CES.
Yeah.
So we're getting quotes, not bids.
And as soon as we start receiving them, we'll be coming back to me to review.
Okay.
That's all I stand for. Any questions?
Any questions from the committee? Okay, if not, we can move on. Item 3, fire hydrant meter pulse.
Will be Robert Glenn to your right.
This originally went to the last finance committee meeting on May 6th. At that time, we were asked to bring it to legal and infrastructure. Just to,
Hey, are you everywhere?
yes. And this is one of those policies that it's good to get everybody's eyes on, because it is fairly comprehensive on what it covers, and it does make some big changes. This policy came about from the city manager's instruction to basically clean up our houses. We've never had a hydrant meter policy. So this is starting one. So what this policy will do is it gives us an overall policy and what is a hydrant for? What do we use hydrants for in the city of Roswell? The conditions and processes for issuance of hydrant meters and relocating of existing hydrant meters. One of the things that I had experience with before, this place I was before here, was we had hydrant meters that we just issue out. And we didn't really care where the contractor had them or anything. As long as they got us readings once in a while, we were happy. We had EPA come in to do an inspection, and that was one of the things that got dinged on. Because it is our responsibility as a system operator to know where these things are and to have control over them. Because it is a place where you have problems that can cause. Process to disconnect and return the hydrant meters. How do we do that? How do we close things out? It allows the utility director to make exceptions to the policy. No matter what kind of policy you write, you can't cover everything. So there has to be somebody that can say, okay, in this situation, we're gonna do this. Prohibits the use of global meters. When these meters go out, the staff will go out, attach them to the hydrant that the contractor wants them attached to, chain them to the hydrant, and they stay there until they're either done with it or they want it moved. It establishes the fees and deposit schedule for hydrant meters. We'll talk about that on the next slide. And processing penalties for the unauthorized use of fire hydrants. What are we going to do to people when they just decide to tie onto it and do whatever they want? Next slide. So the water meter deposit is based on the actual cost of the meter assembly. Right now, we're only charging $200 for a deposit. for a meter that cost us $1,800. The $200 deposit that we get doesn't even cover the valves that are on the meter. And these guys know it. It also establishes the monthly connection fee that is based on what a three-inch meter is to anybody else. So any business in town that has a 3-inch meter, they pay the $51.13. And then they get their first 3,000 gallons included in that. And that's the way we would set it up with the hydrant meters. To attach it to a hydrant, your monthly fee is going to be $51.13. Your first 3,000 gallons are included in that. And if you're outside the city with policy of charging double, it's $102.25. And you still get the first 3,000 gallons free. The water is billed out at the current bulk water rate that's set by resolution, which is $2.24 per thousand. And there's a meter relocation fee. If they want that meter moved, it's, time and materials for the guys to go out and do it. So it's probably, an hour to go out and make that move. With that, I'll stand for any questions that anybody has on policy or any clarifications that we need.
What is current, the current bulk water rate? Is that up to date?
Yes.
Other questions on the committee?
Oh, okay.
Sorry?
Why is the county getting a penny discount?
The county's getting a penny discount.
County would be double. They pay double.
Look at it, 26 cents. 26 cents.
That's a great observation, Steve.
That's the way the rounding works, I guess.
I've got a couple of questions. So we're not, of course, in this particular policy, the fees aren't established in a separate document, correct? This, as we're transitioning, I don't know if we've fully transitioned yet, but to that one, all fees outside of this. And this is not a resolution. This is it says it's an action item, but this is a policy where there's not a resolution.
Correct, just a policy.
We're not.
And the fees that are up there are the ones that are already established, and we would just have this, that I didn't want to have to create a whole new thing as fees for
No,
this.
we've been trying for the last couple of years separate the fees from the actual resolution. Like this isn't even a resolution, so there's no action to take on. Like,
The recommendation would go to legal, because legal sees it after this.
right.
So if infrastructure is good with it, then when he makes his report to legal, he can report that infrastructure was against it or for it.
Sure.
And then we'll take it back to finance.
But is the city manager want to, again, this is a policy. Policy is not going to be approved by city council. Is it its intention to ultimately have city council bless this anyway?
That may be what they're seeking, is just to get blessing from the council on this
It will
policy.
go to council
Okay.
after the committee. But you're one of the first committee, second committee to look at it, correct?
We're planning on kind of doing it like we did the surplus property policy.
Sure. But you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's
So,
not an
I
ordinance,
know.
it's not a resolution.
Sometimes Joe likes bringing extra stuff to us just to
make sure in the loop. And
Yeah.
sure understand.
Wants a little bit of coverage, maybe. So, hey, those guys decided to do it, not me.
Yeah.
So my only question, and this is not a big sticking issue for me at all, but so we're taking that meter deposit fee, of course, that's not in this document, but what will be in the whatever resolution goes alongside of it, fee resolution, from 200 to 23. So I understand where the value, the dollar amount comes from. And maybe it's a moot point. I assume most people who are using these kind of meters and this kind of capacity, that's not going to be a big deal.
Correct.
Because I'm always tempted to make sure that we're being as business friendly as possible without putting the city in sort of
And
direct.
this is for like the big construction and stuff, and I've talked to a couple of these contractors and they said that's nothing.
Okay, so
That's normal for them.
I'm okay with that.
One question that did come up is what happens if a resident wants to fill a swimming pool? And are we gonna go through this whole process? And no, we can use some of our older meters if it's a one-time shop for something like that. This is for contractor, commercial base, heavy duty use.
Okay.
The general public, if they need water for a day, we can make those separate rates.
Sure, through the direct
Yeah.
utility. I think that's the only thing that I see on here that I was even remotely concerned about. Again, I want to make sure that we're getting as business friendly as possible, but there's no harm, no foul.
These are the new meters that we're using. They are it's from Metron Burner. I've used them before. That was one of the questions out of the last committee is, have these been vetted? And I have used them before. They work very well. Water billing can actually get into these on a daily basis if they want to and read this meter. The other thing that they have on them is a GPS device, so we know where that meter is. So when somebody decides to go buy a chain and take the meter with them, we can. It's really nice because the police department can knock on the door and say, hey, can we get our meter back? Otherwise, somebody's going to jail.
We did have one stolen from the North Garden Bridge last year.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Okay, then, I guess I would entertain a motion to send this to legal with our recommendation.
I'll make a motion to send this fire hydrant meter policy to legal committee. With our recommendation.
Second? Second. Okay, unless we have questions, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, tree services, scope of work, RP 22001. Who's got that? Oh, great.
Mr. Chairman, committee members, the city of Roswell would like to issue RFP 22001 for tree removal, disposal, and trimming services. We are seeking proposals from qualified firms to remove, dispose, clean up, cut down, remove hazardous trees or limbs on city right-of-way and on city property. The purpose of the RFP, of course, is to develop a small pool of qualified offerers so that we can have more than one available at any given moment. Heaven forbid there is an atmospheric event that would require more than one at any given moment. Contract term duration will be for 1 year from the day it's signed, and then it can be renewed, expanded, or extended by mutual agreement in increments of for 1 year for up to 3 additional renewals. So we're asking that you consider recommending to the city council the scope of work for the RFP 22001 for tree removal, disposal, and trimming services for the June 10th, 2021 meeting.
Okay, great. And I think I actually answered just to repeat that this is not for a particular contract. This is to create a pool of contracts that we have for roofs, we have demolition.
You said we've been doing everything else.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think that's one working great. I'm glad to see us extend it to trees. Any questions from the committee? If not, I would take I would entertain a motion, and if there's no objections, I think we can. Can we?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
RFP scope of work, yes, you can.
Yeah, we'll send it.
Make a motion to send to the consent agenda the next city council meeting, RFP -22-001, tree removal, disposal, and trimming services.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. Okay. Department reports.
Department reports are in your packet, Mr. Chairman, committee, and we stand for any questions.
The one question I have, not a particular department report, but so, and I'm not necessarily trying to get to anything on this, it's more just for information purposes. So as we are looking to increase the road budget for next year, how do you feel as from the engineering department? I probably would have asked it at the council meeting, but they get so long. How do you feel about the road department as far as the capacity of our contracting pool? I know that's all.
I know one of the things they brought up was can we do it with the amount of money? Yes, we can. Contractors, with there's money available, they're gonna move in and they're gonna take care of it. I know it's gonna be hard to not spend the money, because we could spend that money heartbeat. What we just did the past month was closer to $2 million, and it took us, what, 3 weeks?
Sure. So you don't feel like there's gonna be any capacity issues?
No, I mean,
Obviously normal delays.
normal delays, and the one that delayed us the most is when we have to bid out a project. You have to bid it out, award it, that kind of stuff. And other than that, Mother Nature,
Sure.
you know, the amount of money that the city, and I'm very grateful for that, is willing to give us, yeah, we'll spend it.
Okay, great. Good to hear. Any other comments or questions from the committee? Not public comments?
I will give Mr. Conley the floor, and then I do wish to speak on public comment.
Okay, great.
The only comment I have is there was talk of the city council to take the money and do wards, do like Ward 4, 5 first, and then go north. And my opinion, probably do like a 60-40, you know, 60 goes south and 40 goes north, following your reverse it. You happy, George? You happy, Savina?
Actually, Mr. Conley is giving me, doesn't realize it, but he's giving me an intro to what I want to speak about.
Great. Go ahead.
Okay, so as we're all there for budget, I think everybody was for budget. And my apologies, I won't be there for budget this Thursday. Preschool graduations, I go, he was a 4-year-old, so I won't be there. I just want to make some comments to one of the senior staff members. Just to remind all the counselors that you are allowed to make an amendment. And what it seemed to be was, from my observation, was either 3/4 or 4/4 of reserve. And remember, 3/4, we just need a minimum of 1/4. I mean, 1/12. So there was either 3/12 or 4/12. Well, if you do your math, you can always do 7/24. Doesn't have to be.
Sure.
Doesn't have to be. And we're, you know, you can make an amendment. It seemed that I gathered that some of the council wanted to put a little bit more money to roads and infrastructure. So as the city engineer, may I make a couple of suggestions? These are suggestions only. Number one would be the parking lot at the Carpenter Park. As you can see, Carpenter Park getting ready to be done. Try to put some parking over here and over here. Engineering has done an estimate. I have graded it this today, because that estimate was done a few months back. That would be $200,000 to do that. To do the parking lot with the yellow sidewalk to get everybody to where you're at, 88 parking and that kind of stuff. That'd be an asphalt paved parking lot. Again, a suggestion.
And this would be using some of them, there's still some money left. in that.
Yeah, so here's I'm basing my numbers. The conversation was either 3/12 or 4/12, and each 12 being approximately $2 million. Okay?
I'm sorry, but with Carpenter Park, there's still some money left.
Yeah, that's 200,000. And again, you don't have to use all 12. I'm just giving you some ideas.
I'm sorry, make sure I'm asking the question. With the allocation we originally got for Carpenter Park, we have not spent it all.
All the money will be spent on the facility itself. There's no money for parking at this point.
Okay, that was
No money for parking at this point. Okay. So again, just with the conversation that the council had, everybody was comfortable with 3/12. It seemed the comfort level disappeared between 3/12 and 4/12. So that's $2 million. So how about $200 million? Because when you make an amendment, you got to have a suggestion. Just the way it works. And then the other thing is, on the residential microservicing, we already have $500,000 in the budget for what we're calling residential microservicing. How about giving streets and engineering another $500,000, make it an even $1 million for the residential streets, 5 wards, 200,000 per ward. And that way, you guys, like I said, we used to do $1 million a year, and it would take 8 to 10 years to go all around the city. But if there's $1 million, 200,000 per ward, I think every ward would be able to see a little something, something. And the city could see, not only the citizens, but councils could see what $1 million of microservices could do. And it would be the streets, based on the pavement condition study, and with the streets department, we would pick the streets to 200,000 per ward. And again, these are just suggestions that if any council wants to make an amendment, Margaret, you should be able to see this on the screen, what I'm talking about.
Yes, sir.
Just a suggestion as a city engineer. And I stand for any questions.
I mean, I think that it's going to be an interesting discussion to have. Appreciate you bringing this project. You know, the other one that came up that would probably be good for us to have a number on is the tennis court.
The tennis court, and Mike's here, but the thing is with the tennis court, we don't have an agreement with the association yet. So we're kind of ahead of the 8 ball right now. So first you would want to have some sort of agreement or participation level with the tennis court association, or tennis association, whatever is out there.
Sure.
And again, I don't have anything on, that's what I understand. Mike, I could be wrong.
No, that certainly is Joe's position. I don't know if that's the position of all the councilors though.
Well, and again, the suggestions I give you are infrastructure suggestions that are clean. No agreements required, just vote of yes. But just giving you some ideas for you councilors to think about. We have till Thursday. I won't be there to politic there on Thursday, so I'm getting my licks in.
Sure. No, we appreciate that. Any questions or comments from the committee?
That's a good idea. Appreciate the suggestions.
Thank you, Council.
Okay. If that's all the public comment, I think we are adjourned until June 20th. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it.
Did you forget?
I remembered, and then I went to autopilot when I was driving.
Oh, okay.
And then I drove up and like, oh, there's nobody here.
Dang, I'm about it.
So what's new?